Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every...
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 184. I'm Chris and I am joined once again after a nice 2-week break by my favorite people to podcast with, except for the people I podcasted with for the last 2 weeks. Harry, hi. How's it going?
Thanks for that completely unqualified and straight from the heart introduction, except for the fact that it wasn't. But hi! I'm happy to be back.
Glad to have you back, too. And, of course, Laenor. Hello, Laenor. You've been a busy boy over the last 2 weeks.
Hello, minions, and I've been a very, very busy boy.
And, Bill? How's it going, Bill?
I'm alive.
That is wonderful and fantastic, and I'm not going to move on to sad things like Robin Williams and stuff because that just makes me cry.
That's actually not where I was trying to go, but
well, yeah. Anyways, we'll not talk about that because we're all going to break down in tears. So let's move along and talk about what we've done in games because we've got some news to talk about as well. Laenor, what has kept you busy this week?
I have been playing quite a few things. I've fallen in love with live streaming, so I've been playing all kinds of games that I have and getting more games as we speak. I have been running around in Gondor in Lord of the Rings Online, and it is absolutely beautiful. Chris, you went through some of that before, and the areas that you went through are nothing compared to what's after that.
Oh, that's awesome. The areas that I've seen have been awesome. I've been a little slow because I'm trying to track down the reason for a bug. It's a really weird graphics bug that's happened since the end of our streaming session there. I just get in the top left corner of my screen a black square.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that.
And I can't hunt down the problem, and I've tried reinstalling drivers and stuff, so working on that. So I haven't really moved forward because it's really quite distracting. So, but yeah, it what I saw was beautiful, so I can't wait for more.
Other than that, I tried to jump into Guild Wars 2. It was a game that I really could not get into, mainly because I think it was the area that I started in, which was the Norn. It was very not combat-y. And I'm running around as a warrior trying to figure out why I have such a huge sword when I need to feed bears and seals and flying
That is
rocks.
weird. Yeah, you're so right. It's basically the Klingons. The Norns are like the Klingons, the honorable warrior people, but they don't warrior. They don't do war.
Yeah, they don't. There's nothing to protect. So I'm trying to get back into that again, and if anybody watches the live streams at all, please come in and help me out a little bit because I'm kind of stuck in a lot of places trying to get back into the game. Like, I'm actually stuck because of our charity thing that we did last year, the 24-hour Extra Life, I think it was.
Yeah.
We went from point A to point B and leveled up really fast. And about midway of that, I really did not like my character, and I went and got my main character, and she leveled up like 10 levels or something like that. So now all my gear is like level 22, and my character is like 30, and I'm having a rough time trying to figure out what the heck to do.
Well, getting better gear may help.
Yeah.
Getting better gear in Guild Wars 2 that you can get it at the auction house is actually a really dirt cheap to get. Just like when you're
Where's
at that
that?
level, all you need is blues or something like that.
Any
It's
main
pretty
city.
easy there. You
Right
could
on.
use karma as well. Like you get karma every time you complete a heart or anything like that too.
That's
And
the best
usually
thing
those
to do,
vendors will have a
yeah.
couple pieces as well.
Okay, I'll
That-
probably check that out, because I was looking at some of the vendors, and there's vendors that are level 28, but they sell level 30 something gear, and I'm like, oh, come on.
They should.
No,
They should have.
Blame
Oh, go ahead, Harry.
Oh, I was because Bill gave the golden tip here. Because whenever you're doing the hearts reward giver usually has rewards on the level of the zone you're in. So that's usually the better gear. That's the better quest rewards to get. So I wouldn't bother with the auction house unless you see something that you want to get a set complete. But if you're not level 80 yet, just focus on the hearts quest reward giver guys.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm just not doing enough damage, and I'm taking a lot of damage, so I just need something to get me past that, and then I can continue questing. And that's
You're
what I need to do.
probably not
So
doing
I'll
it
be
right
doing that.
then. You're probably doing it wrong then, because if you're
I am
taking
doing
a
it
lot
wrong.
of damage, yeah. Okay, never mind. This ain't Guild Wars Reporter.
I've been doing the Secret World for the last couple of weeks at midnight, and kind of inadvertently made a show about it called Midnight Grind, where I just play a lot of rock and metal, and been getting some audience during that, and even Chris jumped on that too. What were you playing?
I finished off WildStar stuff and then jumped in and did some Guild Wars, and then I just did my dailies for WildStar the other night.
Mm-hmm. So
So-
yeah, the late night crowd's been pretty cool and funny. I got to play Swordsman this week. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later. Kind of a neat game. I got into more Guns of Icarus, and I am level 4 engineer now. So I can smack an engine and heal it all the way to max. It's great. And then I did a little bit of live streaming with a friend of the network in a game called Terraria. I think that's pronounced that way. Terraria.
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 Yeah. Terraria.
So I played that. It is a 2D kind of Minecraft-y game. It's like a platformer, and it's kind of neat. They have like a ton of items and stuff that you can craft in there, and they just go crazy with. So it's kind of neat. And that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah, it's my kids love it. They are really into Terraria. They play it on the Xbox or on our tablets, and if they play it on the tablet, they can. It doesn't matter. It's really cool, actually. If they're on the same network, it'll go cross-platform, so they can play on the Android tablet with the people on the iPads,
Oh,
That's
nice.
cool.
and so they can play with each other. So that's really really cool. They're
There's
really
actually another game like that called Starbound, which is Terraria. Damn it, I can't pronounce it either. Rara, and but then with a science fiction theme. So you have a spaceship and you fly to different planets, and each planet is like a biome in Terraria.
Oh, cool. Could we
It's got to be at least. I think we should be cataloging the number of different ways to pronounce Terraria.
Terraria?
Show title. Oh man, Bill, what did you do this week?
Well, these weeks. That was smooth, Leonore, by the way.
It's a good thing we were able to mask that edit point so well, because man,
Nobody
Wow.
will find out. Nobody will ever find out.
without your skill, Leonore, it would have been very obvious.
That was like glass. It was
I'm
just
pro, yo.
magic.
Oh man. Okay, keep going, Bill.
Anyway, I was not very diligent in my gamering this week. I actually went out and I have some sunshine on me, and I turned a little bit brown, and I don't know how to get it off. I've been trying to scrub it, and it just stays there. It's really
just
weird.
Your freckles joining together in the sun.
Pretty much, yeah. They're like crawling into each other. It's like a science fiction thing. Anyway, when I did get in game, Sonny and I have actually been playing the heck out of Guild Wars 2. We're running up alts there and rerunning the whole world with a lot of focus on the story quest this time instead of map completion. We're doing the story quest, and that's been tons of fun. We're still dabbling in the secret world a little bit, and that's just a really nice change of pace. It's a different style than Guild Wars 2. It's a good change of pace game, and I'm still really, really satisfied just to have a different setting compared to swords and sorcery and that kind of thing. It's nice to just pull out a shotgun. I know there are shotguns in Guild Wars 2, but like a real shotgun and do something with it. It's cool. Also, and outside of MMOs, I made a rookie mistake. I don't even know what I was thinking, but the last day of my holiday, I fired up Civ 5 in the morning, and I thought, I'm just gonna play. I got to start a large map, but I'm just gonna play the first 20 turns and kill some barbarians and learn a couple technologies. 11 hours later, I had finally destroyed the Romans, who were just being absolute dicks the entire time. And I mean, England, don't even get me started, but the Romans were a real problem. So we took care of that. But it's so good. And I want to put it out there. I'm not even going to try to convince everyone that Civ 5 is the best game ever made or anything like that, because it's probably not. But I challenge anyone out there, either podcast host or listener or anyone, to come up with a game that is more addictive in an impossible to put down, just 5 more minutes type way, because I can't recall any game experience that's done that to me more than Civ 5 has. Not World of Warcraft in its prime, not any other turn-based, not Heroes of Might and Magic or anything like that. Certainly no shooters or even the prime 100-hour RPGs from BioWare and everything like that. None of them were as difficult to put down as Civ 5 is for me today. So there you go, gentlemen. Challenge laid.
I must first. There's no such thing as just 20 turns of Civ 5. So,
like I said, rookie mistake.
That doesn't happen. The only thing that comes close to the grasp that Civilization 5 has on me is Kerbal Space Program. That's another game that just sucks away the time from me without knowing that it happens. But other than that, blank. This is one of the best games I've ever played, and I'm still playing it with my friends. Almost every Sunday we play a game of Civilization 5, and they still think I'm a warmonger, which I'm not. But it's a fantastic game. It's awesome.
Yeah. Chris, Leonor, anything?
Super Mario Brothers.
I got nothing.
Stand in the corner. You're not going to compare Civ 5 to Super Mario Brothers.
Like NHL 98, maybe?
Oh,
wow!
Timeouts for the both of you. Okay, you've got a timeout from the podcast, Leonor and Chris. Harry, since you are the only one with any sense going right now, what have you been playing this week?
Well, actually, the main thing I've been playing is playing Ryder, and I'm actually kind of proud to say that I've set myself a goal to finish my first draft of my manuscript in 2 months' time. And my deadline was August 9th, and I made it on August 10th, and I finished the first draft of my manuscript.
Yay!
And I'm very, very happy about that. A first draft is usually just crap. That doesn't matter. I mean, I've heard somebody say if you're writing a book, the first draft, if you compare it to a sculpture, it's like creating the block of marble. And then from that you're going to create the actual story. So, but it's the work part, the first draft. So 2 months of focused writing every day and excluding all kinds of multiplayer games, all kinds of MMOs. So I played Lotro a little bit. just a little bit, and I must say, I still had that feeling I described a couple of weeks ago when I was killing 9 orcs in a quest and thinking, I've been waiting for something beyond the 9 orcs for 7 years, and I'm not sure it's ever going to happen. So lay that away. For review, I played Sacred 3, and Sacred is kind of this Diablo top-down hack and slash game. It's such a weird title. It looks serious, and it looks kind of nice. I mean, it's not as beautiful as Diablo, but it looks like a serious fantasy game, and you have your characters, your heroes going through the landscape, killing stuff, and it's kind of enjoyable in the way, like, okay, it's competent. I hate games that are just competent, but fortunately, this game wrecks it all by having voiceovers talking to each other, telling the story, and you know those Nickelodeon sitcoms for kids?
Yes.
Okay, this game could learn from them.
Hey, you know what? I have been watching Girl Meets World. Thank you very much with my daughter, and that's some pretty good stuff.
This game has several villains that you have to. The first one is called Cartel.
Oh,
and he runs a smuggling ring.
You could even say it's a cartel.
You, if one was inclined to do so, one could do that. One would also kill the writers if he had the chance. There is a line there in the game that actually, just a throwaway line from one of the quote-unquote heroes. No, it's actually a villain who says, I once conquered 3 harbors and a chihuahua. I gave them all back, though, except the chihuahua. Why is this line? It's so bad. It is so painfully bad. It's so terribly written, and it's not written bad in a good way. But it's like the creators of this game looked at it and thought, this is void of every little inch of personality or originality. It's not in there. You know what? We'll just give it to some high school actors and let them do anything.
Oh, man.
You know, there's something to be said about the whole less is more concept. I mean, if you can't write a good story, you know what game didn't have a whole lot of dialogue? It didn't have a ton of voice acting or anything like that, but still did okay? Half-Life. The story told beautifully with just occasional and slight and just the bare minimum necessary to tell a great story. And I believe I gotta believe there's lessons to be learned there that aren't being learned.
Well, you can't do that because look at Half-Life 2, which did a much more cinematic experience because that's what time had gotten to. So you can't. It's much harder to have that type of game than it was when Half-Life came out.
But it's not just it's the voiceovers are playing while you are hacking and slashing away. I mean, if it was just the cutscenes, I could skip them. Thank God there is a skip button. But if you're actually playing the game and people are talking over that, it's why? It's like people have seen Mystery Theater 3000 and didn't understand that funny is a skill. And then just sit down and grab the mic and just... Okay. Sacred 3 is not a game I recommend. An older game that I actually finished because this was my reward. Whenever I wrote my allotted amount of words every day, I allowed myself to play Assassin's Creed 2, which is an older game, I admit, but one of the best games I've ever played.
Awesome. It is good.
It is... If you never played any Assassin's Creed game... Assassin's Creed 2 is the best game of the series so far that I know. I mean, I've heard Brotherhood is better, but I don't have that. So
Brotherhood is good as well.
Yeah, but this is such a great game. I've played it for almost 100%. The only thing I didn't get was the feathers. There's like 100 feathers hidden in the entire game world, and I couldn't be asked. Last of Us PlayStation 4 edition. Very depressing game, beautifully done, great gameplay, but so depressing that I'm playing games to have fun, and I'm not playing games to have an excuse to go into therapy. And Last of Us just is not my. It's not an upbeat kind of experience. It's not like let's cleanse the palate after a hard day's work and have some fun.
No, but sometimes those downer games can be cathartic in a way. It's like watching a downer movie, right?
I don't like downer movies either.
Well, and that's a personal taste thing, right?
Exactly. I'm not saying anything about the quality of the game. I mean, it's fantastic that they can actually achieve those effects.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and it's awesome to see video games reach this level of storytelling as opposed to Sacred 3. I mean, it can be done. I mean,
I'm sorry that you had to exceed your Kleenex budget by so much for the month, though.
Exactly. For the tears.
Yes.
Which brings me to Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth, which is a game I'm reviewing on the PlayStation Vita. Somehow, and okay, you're gonna make fun of me, I know, but somehow these weird Japanese anime girl games just keep winding up in my review stack. And this is one of the weirdest concepts I've ever seen. Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth is a game that takes place in a magical world called, and I'm not making this up, Game Industry. And in it are 4 goddesses. You have the Laystation goddess. You have it's 4 consoles. Like you have the Saturn, it's called the Neptune. You have the PlayStation, which is the Laystation. You have the Wii. You have the Xbox, and all 4 of those goddesses are fighting for some reason with each other over their followers. And it is a graphical representation of the console war, with consoles represented by big boobed girls.
How much is this game?
And these and this is the talking about bad writing. The opening cutscene is these 4 goddesses fighting and talking trash to each other, and they are shaped in a way that no human female has ever been shaped. They defy not only the rules of gravity but good taste as well, and they are well endowed. Let's put it this way.
So you're saying that you're enjoying it, is what you're saying.
One of those girls, and I'm leaving this to the discretion of the editor of this podcast. So Steve, hands on button if you want. But one of these girls says to the other girl and calls her, without a trace of irony, Thunder Tits.
10 out of 10.
All I could think of was thunder tits. Oh, Thunder Tits are on the move. Thunder Tits are loose. I'm sorry, I couldn't stop thinking that.
Oh man,
it is terrible, and this is the level of writing, and it is a.
And it's still better than Sacred 3.
Sorry?
And it's still better than Sacred 3.
And it's still better than Sacred 3. I don't know why, but I like looking at it. No, but it is. I used to, when I was younger, look at
we don't need to
gaming.
go there. We don't need to go there when you were younger in the Kleenex. And no.
I was looking at gaming magazines, ignoring all these terrible double entendres. I was looking at lists of releases from games in Japan and was wondering what all those wonderful games are that we would never see. And I was better left wondering, because now they're bringing them over, they're translating them. And who creates this? I mean, I've talked about this a couple of weeks ago, about this game with the monster girls and the way that you had to stroke your PlayStation Vita by touching the front of the back of the screen in a rhythmic up and down motion. I mean, there must have been this meeting between these developers and these publishers, and all of them went out of this big Japanese office saying, "Yeah, this is a good idea. Let's go for it."
Oh man.
Okay, so but this is the good kind of bad, because it's so utterly ridiculous. The entire concept of goddesses representing consoles who are fighting over that in itself is. I mean, if you're telling an allegory, it helps to not actually name your allegory characters after the things that they're supposed to represent, literally.
Let me guess. It's on Sony, right?
Yeah. And,
so PlayStation has some sort of unfair advantage?
No, it's actually the interesting thing is, and this is the thing that kind of shut up, Chris, piqued my interest. Is it starts with 4 consoles, and one of them is banished, and that's the Neptune console. So basically, they are telling the story of how the console race started with 4 players: Sega, Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft. And one of them fell out, which is the Saturn, which is the Sega. So it is actually accurate to what, but it's something it's almost like taking the stock market or taking a car industry and pitting Fiat against Volvo or something. It's
making
weird.
an anime out of it.
So I've been doing a little bit of analysis here while you've been describing this game, and I think I've come up. There's only one logical conclusion for this game. I just want to say, it starts with H. It's Rebirth 2. So we're obviously talking about 3 births here, right? Okay. Stay with me here. Birth, life, platform is on the PlayStation Vita. Vita, Valve, Half-Life 3 confirmed. Done.
Right.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Now I see it.
That explains everything.
Okay, and with that bombshell, as the good folks of Top Gear used to say.
Sorry, I've just watched the trailer, and it's like, what?
Yeah. I did not exaggerate.
No, you did not.
I recommend anybody, not at work, but just look at the trailer. It's a very, and by the way, I'm looking forward to the next game in my series, which is, it's called Akiba Strip 2, and it's like Akiba apostrophe S Trip, which you would also pronounce as Akiba Strip. And it's about traveling through the Akihabara, which is the electronics district in Tokyo. You're going there. It's a detailed representation of the district. And you are sent there to find vampires in the crowd. And the only way to fight these vampires is by exposing their skin to the sun.
Ooh, wow. Look at what Google gave me. Ooh.
Okay, so that's the next game in my continuing series.
Whoa, I'm watching the trailer. Whoa.
Hey, can we all get review copies?
I think the PlayStation Vita has a new and interesting place in my heart now. But I will move over to the next to our next contestant. But I'm actually, Chris, you played WildStar. Let's get on to the news.
Yeah, I played WildStar.
Okay, so.
Do you want to know how many hours I played this week?
I do not want to know how many hours. I want to get on with the news because you didn't play anything else.
I actually did. Okay, but hold on.
No, you did.
Wait a minute.
You lie, sir. You lie.
I did play some other games, but I kind of went to the dark. This week was better for WildStar. It was 19 hours. It was better. 19 hours.
In a week?
So a half-time job, basically.
So anyways...
Kind of a half-career.
I'm actually less and less surprised that I wrote a novel in 2 months because I quit doing the stuff that you're just wasting your time with.
Hey. Okay. Speaking of wasting I did something, guys.
I do not want to hear it, Chris. You played WildStar. Let's move on.
I did something. I resubbed for WoW.
Damn it.
Everybody at once. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's fun though. I'm leveling up my panda monk.
Oh, why a panda?
But he doesn't have a spider mount. So
I'm already
he has a turtle mount. And you know what? It's always like dominoes. One of us plays WoW 1 week, and then a couple weeks later, another one of us.
But I have to revise my novel, and I have to start a new project. I don't want to play WoW.
So
I do want to play WoW.
That's not all I did. I have a few more. I played Guild Wars 2, got through the first 2 episodes of Season 2, really enjoying the story. And it's interesting. Playing the game less, I think I'm into the story more. I get into the game and I get a little frustrated with the combat and stuff like that, and that sort of things. But the story is really cool, so that keeps me going. So I'm really having a lot of fun with that. I did play Lotro, like we already talked about, so I don't need to talk about that. I tried to play Firefall because I liked it so much the few times that I've gotten to play it and did some previews for it. But okay, here's the annoying thing. So I go to log in and I use my username and password, and it says it doesn't work. Oh crap. Did I remember? I go through my various different ones. I haven't saved this one because it was before I got LastPass. So then I go in and I try to log into the account to see if I can figure out, and because the forget password thing isn't working. Like I click in the client itself, they have a forget password and it says it'll email it to you. It didn't work. So I tried to log in, and the password that I tried for the game it worked on the site, but it didn't work logging into the client. So that was weird. So I tried that, and that was kind of weird. And so then I went back and tried the client, and the password worked all of a sudden. Nothing changed at all. I hadn't changed anything. But then it did one of those IP whitelist things. Oh, we don't recognize the computer that you're on because it just launched and they're going through all this. So it said, email code. Okay, so I clicked on that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I'm thinking, oh, crap, something's going on somewhere. So I go into the account, email's right, but I go to change my email to a different email. But guess what I have to do? It needs to send me a verification code via email to the old email for me to be able to change my email from the email that I've got now to the email that I want. So long story short, I didn't log into Firefall, but I tried.
I should tell you, Chris, I'm so happy that you told that story, because I went through almost word for word exactly the same experience with you with the whole password and not being able to log in and everything like that. You stuck with it quite a bit longer than I did. I gave up when I tried to do password recovery and it wasn't sending.
Yeah.
It wasn't sending it to an email address I had.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, okay, so I feel much better now.
Issues.
I'm not so dumb that I forget what password I used for Firefall. I think there's something funny going on there.
Yeah, so I'm going to submit a ticket and stuff like that tomorrow when I've got a little bit more time. And then I was done with the Midnight Grind the other night. I played for Leonore. I did my dailies in WildStar, and I did the Midnight Grind show. And then I was done, but I wasn't quite sleepy, so I went into Landmark, because it's gone from alpha to beta now for a while. Mm-hmm. And I decided to dig straight down. Because, they talk about the tiers of landscape, right? And how underneath tier 1, there's tier 2, and then underneath tier 2, there's tier 3, right? So I thought, hey, I'm going to dig. And because I've got the Founders stuff, so I've got the really good pickaxe, and I can dig through stuff. So just shortly over an hour later, and 80,000 units of dirt later collected, still in tier 1. So I dug straight down, and I couldn't get out.
Did it turn all foggy so you couldn't really even see very far?
I had this really nicely done tunnel going all the way down. And I'd look up every once in a while, and all I see is tunnel. No more exit. So I kept on digging down, because I figured at this point I was so far underground I couldn't just dig sideways. You don't get to tier 2 in an hour of digging down. Just so you know. FYI.
When you log back in again, you'll probably pop up onto the ground now.
Yeah. Sorry.
Actually spend an hour digging in a game.
I was really tired.
Of course, you've been digging for an hour in a game.
Yeah, I may have had some medication. So, yeah, anyways.
Well, they wrote
a song for exactly this.
Going down. Mayday, mayday.
Anyways, I played some Hearthstone as well, and I'm actually getting near rank 20, which is awesome for me. I'm not usually that good. I'm trying to get enough money to buy the next expansion packs, the next wings of the expansion pack. So I'm earning some money and trying to do that, but getting my quests done. I have to win 5 battles with a paladin, and I'm not doing so great. Hey, there's a song here.
Funny, eh?
Funny that. Let's see. Put it up here. It's very epic. Okay, come on. I need some lyrics here.
Brothers of the mind rejoice. Sing, sing, swing with me. Raise your pick and raise your voice. Sing, sing, sing with me. Down and down into the deep. Who knows what we'll find beneath? Diamonds, rubies, gold and more. Hidden in the mountain's floor. Born underground. Suckled from a teeth of snow. Raised in the dark.
All right, there you go.
Pretty good, actually.
Thanks, Yogcast,
Yeah.
for that. That was really cool. We'll have a link to that in the show notes for those of you who want to check it out
That's
in
really
more
good.
in more detail. Yeah, that is really
The
good.
song is called Diggy Diggy Hole, so it is appropriate.
Yep.
As long as it's not Harry Hole, I'm pretty happy with that.
No,
I did,
that's the sequel probably.
I did Diggy Diggy Hole in Landmark for quite a while. Last but not least, I figured out how to stream my iPad out to our Twitch page and get that going. So
It sounds so dirty, diggy diggy hole.
did we break Leonore? So I can now stream anything on my iPad out to our Twitch channel, and I can record from my iPad too, which is a bit of a pain to do otherwise. So that was really cool.
Fancy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Harry, you are an eye aficionado. Do you know how to do that? Huh?
I'm still a diggy diggy hole.
Yeah. Here you
I'm just
go. Here's
getting
a
the
little-
images now. It's just not letting.
I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. Diggy, diggy hole. Diggy, diggy hole. I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. Diggy, diggy hole. Digging a hole.
I'm so happy now.
Make it stop.
All right. That
I
is
think
it.
this brings us to something like
Yes.
what's happening in actual news this
It
week.
is time to get to the news. It's now time for a very sad part of the podcast. Not only is it a sad part of the podcast, however, it is also a reckoning part of the podcast where people must take responsibility for their actions. Leonore?
Wait a minute.
Leonore?
Did I kill another game?
Damn it, you killed like 3!
Ah, damn it.
I think 4 actually.
Oh man, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. It's like, oh look, I'm gonna play a game, dead. Oh look, I'm gonna play a game, dead. Would you stop playing these damn games? Okay, so let's go through the list here. Wizardry Online. I think
wow.
if you didn't
Not
hear
because
that,
I hate WoW. I just want the temptation removed from my life.
that's just Harry saying play WoW. I think Wizardry Online was one of the first reviews you did for us, right? Wasn't it?
Yes.
And it's
Yep.
dead.
It's dead.
Vanguard.
Permadeath.
Vanguard dead.
That's actually good.
Yeah,
Wizardry now
I-
has permadeath.
it's funny. Totally. It took me a second, but I got it. Vanguard, which, funny enough, I just deleted from my hard drive because I was always saying, I got to go back and try that game. Nope, I don't. Ultima Forever, which I think is happy that it's dead, as happy as we are that it's dead, because it was not a fantastic game.
May I go to Ultima for one moment, because I've dug up a little review, diggy hole. I just want to read the first paragraph of the Eurogamer review of Ultima Forever. May I?
Oh, please. Oh.
So farewell then, Ultima. This is the review in 2013. So farewell then, Ultima. The title of developer Mythic and publisher EA's new entry in the series, an iOS-exclusive free-to-play MMORPG Lite, is Ultima Forever. These words you can visualize chiseled on a gravestone. Make no mistake. This game has the surface of a vibrant fantasy, but is a grasping and shallow product. The free-to-play business model is entirely to blame for this, because Ultima Forever Quest for the Avatar, to give its full title, is a game built around several principles that flow from it. Critics of free-to-play often focus on the money side of things, but really the specific amounts matter little. Ultima Forever rips you off with its keys, for sure, but it's their impact on how the game actually plays that ruins it. This is a game built for idiots.
Oh, wow. I downloaded this game, but I didn't play it.
Nobody should have played it.
So this was put out by EA, which means microtransactions galore, right? I don't know. Nobody played it, so nobody knows.
I've downloaded it because it was an Ultima title, and I think I've given it 30 seconds before I just said nope. It might even still be on my phone. I'm checking now.
Well, you won't.
Do I still have it on my phone? Can I still play it?
I don't think so. It's down. What else? Vanguard is down. Leonor has killed Vanguard as well. And Rusty Hearts, you played that one too, didn't you?
Yes, I played it for a little bit. I liked it a lot. I liked the anime art style of it and recommended it to my old roommate, who probably hates me now.
Yeah, because it's your fault. Like, just don't play games.
See,
ever.
This is all funny and everything like that, but at what point does this no longer become coincidence, and when do we actually have to start investigating old Leonor here? I think we're going to be sending the men in black to your house, so we're just going to have a little chat to see what you do there.
There were some good parts to Rusty Hearts. I played it at PAX. I interviewed the developers, who I think were more nervous than I was. This might have been the first PAX that I went to without you, Bill. And so I'm just getting the hang of this whole video thing, right? And so it looked really interesting for those interested in the anime style of gameplay, and very JRPG MMO stuff. And great boss fights, if I remember correctly. So this is one that I'm a little bit sad. Obviously, it's just not making enough money, so it's a business decision, and it's going to go. But it's still a little sad.
Yeah, this came out on Steam when I recommended it to my roommate, and it was pretty big on Steam. People were really getting into it. And when he was playing it, he couldn't really find a cash shop. So he was going through the content like crazy, just playing and loving it. So I don't know. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. All right. Leonor, or Harry, you've got the next story.
I do. I actually do. Firefall apparently launched, and I thought it launched a year ago because it's been in open beta forever.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say this is the open world MMO shooter game that's been a long time in development, and actually pretty damn impressive for what they've tried to do and actually achieved. I've played it, I've enjoyed it, but that was a year ago, and I'm actually... Why is this called launch now? Well, everybody's been playing it already.
Because
and that's the thing. If you remember, sorry, Chris, you remember last year at PAX, they had the biggest booth in the primest spot on the floor. They were everywhere at PAX last year in exactly the way that you'd expect of a company that is just in the process of releasing their brand new game. And here we are a year later, and it's like I'd forgotten about it. Hence the fact that I couldn't even figure out my password anymore.
Yeah. And it's very common of free-to-play games nowadays, though, to spend a lot of time in open beta. I think we're going to see the same thing out of Landmark. A lot of time. ArcAge is definitely, taking its time coming to live in its westernized form. This is very, very common. Infinite Crisis, it's a MOBA, but still, it is still in closed beta. I don't think you can even just get in. You have to get a code from someone. I hope I remember that right. Leonor, do you know?
I'm not touching that one. I might kill it.
Oh, okay.
You think about Firefall, though. I mean, we were talking about Firefall in the same breath that we were talking about PlanetSide 2, when the two were just kind of starting to hit the gaming consciousness in that. And, I mean, PlanetSide 2 is kind of getting... I mean, I don't want to say it's old, but it's not new anymore.
It feels like it's been around forever.
I saw it at a few PAXs, quite a few.
Yeah.
And
WildStar was like that for a while too, wasn't it? Wasn't that in like a really long beta period? And then when it was out, it was like, well, I've been playing this for a while anyway.
No,
that's just Chris talking about it a lot.
Yeah, it announced. It announced and then went dark for like 2 PAXs, 2 years. Firefall is cool because I think while it may not be a better shooter than what Destiny is, I think it's a better MMO for that portion of it. It is definitely more open world than Destiny is.
You played Destiny?
Yeah,
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, played the beta. But again...
you did?
Yeah. Just for maybe 4 or 5 hours one afternoon. So okay. I think Destiny's a better shooter than Firefall. If you like that Halo style, I think Firefall is a fantastic shooter in its own right. And it is by no means a bad shooter. I just think that Halo's so popular, people are used to that sort of style of shooter. So I like the classes. I like the way your character grows. And I really enjoyed playing the game. I've played it I've got maybe 25, 30 hours in. Overall, Firefall. Very worthwhile checking out. Worth going to see the game. It is free to play. They do have some stuff that you can buy to make your experience the quality of life stuff. They don't lock content from what I can see. And I'm hoping that Leonor and I can get some streaming of it done sometime in the next few weeks before PAX, which would be cool.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yep. It's a lot of fun. And they have a great community, a great streaming community, and a great... community team as well that does a lot of content on Twitch and YouTube, and at one point they had like Nathan Fillion and Felicia Day playing the game for one of their sort of big events that they had. It was really fun to watch. I really enjoy them, and plus
could Nathan Fillion actually play?
He didn't always die. But there's a whole resource part to it too, where you can put out thumpers which gather materials, but you have to defend them because the thumpers, as they thump the ground to get the materials that you want, attract the bad guys. So you have to defend them. So it's really cool, and the whole melding and the others and all that. It's just a really, really unique universe. I really like it, and it's one of the games I really wish I had more time to play. Anybody else?
Well, that's cool. No, what else is there to say than Chris likes it? So, Leonor, you've got the next story, I think.
Yes, Swordsman has come out. Swordsman is based off of a Chinese martial arts novel. And
they're all based on Chinese martial arts novels. Every Asian game in existence is based on Martian. God damn it!
Martians.
It's based on Martians, damn it.
Nanu.
Martian arts.
Martian arts.
Yeah.
It has real-time combat and 10 different martial art clans. It has a rich storyline and lore. And I played this game, and Chris, you played some of this game too,
I did.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Some of the things don't match up with what they're seeing here. I had some problems with the controls. I could walk forward, I could walk backwards, but I could not turn my character left or right. I had it was strafe buttons, and I could not go into the key settings to set it up so I could turn with my the WASD keys. I had to use the mouse. Is that the same problem that you had too?
Yeah, I had some, and the attack keys were like the tilde key and the Q.
Yeah. It was just a little bit off, and it threw me pretty bad. There were some of the attacks like a combination fireball attack, or shoot like 2 or 3 fireballs, and even when your the target that you killed, your character would aim somewhere else, not even at something, and just keep shooting the rest of the fireballs. It was really annoying.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It really doesn't feel like this is a game that I'm going to jump back into when I'm done sort of getting my experience with it. And I think that's mostly a personal thing, like the whole style of it. I think that the combat is fairly unique, though. The way you choose your classes is unique. And for people who really like the sort of B-movie martial arts movies, it's got to be...
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, and I think people who like that would love this game, would really enjoy living in that world if you can get past the control issues, which I still, as I've been going into the game, I still have a pretty hard time getting past. And it might just be me, but you're having the same issue too, right?
Yeah. And there was just some of the things were just like really weird. And I was playing it today for a little while just because we were going to talk about it today. And one of the worst voice acting recordings I've heard. Now, everything is in Chinese. Everybody is talking or speaking Chinese. Okay, but I'll say something. I'll say something in English here, and you guys can hear how it was recorded. Okay, we're gonna come over there and we're gonna kill you, roar! The microphone is that far away from the guy.
Oh! It took me a while for the quarter to drop.
Oh, I just doubled over and just laughed, and I died because they killed me. That's what they said that they were gonna do, but I just laughed so hard.
Yeah, but it's in some ways it does feel like one of those bad dubs that you've watched in the middle of the night when you've got pizza and beer and you just got nothing else to do, and it has that. So if that's something that you like to do, that you want to seek out, I do think that there's an audience for this, and I think that the game itself isn't horrible. Like, it's not bad in any way whatsoever. And I think I tried to get a broad range of people to look at it, with you and me and Ben's creating a video for it, but none of us have really bought into the style, which is too bad. I was hoping that there'd be, someone who might really like that sort of Asian cinema, but none of us really bought into it. But I think that somebody who did. I'd love to hear from people who are sort of fans of that style of movie and that style of experience, if they've played the game, what they think of it, and if they haven't played the game, looking at what we're talking about, looking at the game, looking at the videos, if they're interested in it. It'd be really cool to hear what it's like.
Yeah, I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Chinese war with the Wu versus the Shu, and
you still didn't get into this?
All that era, and I could not get into this. I like the style, I like the art style of it. Even some of the corny times story that would come up every once in a while. I was actually okay with that stuff, but what it really came down to was the gameplay. I could not move the way that I wanted to, and that really killed it for me.
Well, that's a pretty big deal, especially in a game that's martial arts, right?
Yeah.
Harry, Bill, is this sounding at all interesting to either of you?
I would say that it's on my list. Like, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Chris. I have a hard time imagining where this is going to fit into my gaming milieu after I gave it a shot and tried it. But I won't go and say that I would never, ever, ever play it. But it's on the list, but way down there.
I don't think it would even make it on my list. I mean, it's one of those things that I'm mildly interested when I watch the site and the trailer and hear you guys talk about it, but I'm pretty sure I've forgotten about it already.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just like there's so much to do gaming wise. Why this? Why would I?
And
I don't. What were we talking about again?
Leonor, have you gotten far enough?
You're singing Diggy Diggy Hole in your head, aren't you?
Ah, yeah, that's it. Well, that and Thunder Tits.
Did you get far enough where you could use some of the Hero Pack stuff that we got access to, Leonor? Because they sent us Heroes packs.
Oh, I want that.
I couldn't figure out the promotion thing, so I had to start a free to play account.
There you go. Well, I'll help you out with that, and you can check it out after, and we can talk about it next week. All right, Bill, you've got the next story.
I do have the next story. Now, I liked this one not because of the game so much, but because it just seems like an interesting landmark. RuneScape has now been out in the MMO landscape for 13 years, and it's just now getting its first ever expansion pack. The expansion pack is coming out very soon. It's called The Lost City of Elves. I'm not a RuneScaper. I'm aware that it happened, and that's about it. But I just think that the self-control in 13 years and not releasing even just a little crappy expansion pack to kind of pad your earnings is actually commendable, I guess. I don't think RuneScape's ever been hurting for money. I think they started off with the whole microtransaction, or they were the early ancestor of free to play and microtransactions. And I for some reason I remember reading stories that they've always done quite well. So maybe they didn't need it. But anyways,
they were the ancestor of selling your account for tons and tons of dough.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of so many people, oh yeah, I sold my RuneScape account for blah, 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 blah. Like, too much money. Mm-hmm. And it's still, RuneScape is still above Guild Wars, like regularly Guild Wars 2, WildStar.
Oh, that's right. That's when I do.
It's all over Twitch. Like, it's way above some of those games. It sits up in the top 10 quite often. And that surprises me for a 13-year-old game. And I've tried to watch it, and I can't at all. Not even a bit. And I try to understand, because I want to understand, Bill. I want to take part, and I want to be a member of the no, I can't. I just can't.
I just kind of want to be aware. I don't even need to play it. It's never tickled my fancy. I've known people that played it, and same thing, heard the stories about accounts getting sold and everything like that. I don't know. What about you, Harry or Leonor? Do you have any RuneScape experience?
I do know that RuneScape was the scene of the crime for an actual robbery a couple of years back, and came to trial in the Netherlands, where a little kid of, I think, 12, 13 in school was threatened at knife point by his classmates to hand over kind of a rare item in-game.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and that was an actual robbery that was taking place in the real world. So he was threatened, like, you're going to log into your game and you're going to give us this item now. And the perpetrators were convicted for actual robbery because the judge, in his wisdom, thank God I live in the Netherlands, said if you invested so much time in it, it was a real thing, and therefore it had value, and therefore it was real theft. While the lawyer for the defense argued, well, since it was a virtual item, nothing really was stolen. Well, that obviously was crap. So that's my one RuneScape fact. That, and it has a quest line where people throw up a lot. The characters in game, and presumably the players as well.
Whoa, okay, whoa, hold on, guys. Whoa, breaking news here, big deal. This is absolutely surprising. I don't know if the industry is going to survive. Blizzard is currently only bringing in $102 million per month on World of Warcraft.
Oh my
I don't know if they'll
MMOs are done with.
That's it.
Tighten your belts. Start hoarding food.
That's it.
All right.
Wow. Only
Welcome to
102.
Mobile Reporter.
That's right. 6.8 million subscribers.
But actually, that was this is the number that was released before you resubbed, right?
Yes. So it's 6.800001.
Yeah. Chris moved the needle.
Woo. So yeah, WoW is down to 6.8 million. They're expecting, this was from their earnings report, they're expecting a bump with Warlords of Draenor. It's $102 million a month. They're okay. It's okay, people. Don't panic.
To be fair, that's 800,000 subscribers in the last quarter. How many games out there would love to have 800,000 subscribers, period?
That's more than ESO had a month out from launch. So
probably just about every game we've talked about in this show so far.
Yeah.
I'm not rational in this, but I want ESO to die so badly.
Free to play by the end of 2014.
I want them to just say sorry, we failed, and just scrap the whole freaking thing.
Just shuffle
off. It's not
off.
rational. I know it's not. But I hate that game. I hate it so much, and I hate the people who defend that game.
I think that the hosts of ESO Reporter right here on the MMO Reporter Network would choose to disagree with you, Harry. And in fact, I will send them this clip for them to talk about on their next show.
I guess
I'm sorry. I shouldn't, but I find Harry's hate hilarious.
Sorry, you were saying, Harry?
I mildly dislike. I can't do it. I hate that game. I'm sorry. The grouping is so freaking. I mean, what? I'm not going there. We're talking about WoW, and WoW is a good game. I recommend everybody who's playing Elder Scrolls Online to sub to WoW. Play WoW. It's the game for now.
I'll play WildStar.
Or WildStar.
Thank you. Thank you. That is the first positive thing about WildStar that's come out of your mouth.
They hacked me, damn it. I lost all... And you know what? WildStar didn't even recover my character. They gave me this kind of freaking care package to get a new character up to speed. I wanted my old character back. I love that thing.
Oh,
person playing thingy.
All right, Harry, you got the next story. Move it along. Nothing to see here.
Valve was making an MMO? Question mark. Well, maybe they were! Exclamation point. They actually dug up. This is this YouTube series about the history of Valve, and they pieced together a very interesting online documentary about the game that never was. Kind of a moody literary game that was set in a science fiction world. It's called Prospero. And it is a precursor to the Half-Life games. And it was supposed to be an MMO, or at least an online experience, where you were walking around in third person in an entire universe with puzzles. And if you look at the video, and it is interesting, I was kind of disappointed because it wasn't world-shattering news that Valve was actually working on a game before they were working on another game. But it's interesting if you're a little bit versed in the lore of Half-Life, that a lot of elements that were written or conceived, or even logos like the Half-Life Lambda logo, that was actually not designed for Half-Life but for the Prospero game, and made its way over to Half-Life and Half-Life 2, and was therefore maybe even part of a larger lore experience. So I would recommend anybody who's a little bit interested in Valve or in the Half-Life universe to check out this fun, not too long documentary.
Yeah, it's 11 minutes and 17 seconds. Well worth your time in the morning.
And those 17 seconds are really what make it.
They're the best part.
Yes.
They really are.
I'm not saying which 17 seconds. But those 17
well, I know
seconds.
which 17 seconds you're talking about.
Without those 17 seconds, it would just be 11 minutes, and then what's the point, really?
Right, exactly. You're talking about that part, right, Harry?
Exactly, that part. That
17-second part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Anyway, so guys, what do you think? Should Valve have made an actual MMO? Should they still? Half-Life 3 is an MMO. They're here first. Free to play.
Confirmed.
I think it would be. I like the how big, like Valve's. The Valve's problem is not aiming big, right? That's not a problem for them. And I liked how big this was trying to be and what it could have meant to gaming. And I'm kind of okay with what we got instead. Bill, you were trying to say something.
Very similar. I think at the time, if they'd fleshed it out and if they'd turned it into the experience that they were hoping for, I think it could have been a good game and it would have been a very positive beginning point, or one of the very early beginning points in massively multiplayer online games. Again, I'm glad they went the path they did, and I don't think now is the time for them to get into it. I don't see where it fits into what they do. I know. I mean, there's a lot of MMOs that are already selling lots of hats, so I don't see where Valve is going to really be breaking any new ground here. I don't know. I mean, that said, if there was ever going to be a company that was going to launch a revival or just to completely shake up the whole MMO landscape, I think it would be. It very likely could be Valve. It doesn't feel like a good fit. Like it's more my gut than my head saying that, and I have a big gut, so take that to the bank.
I do think that if they
Wow.
were ever in a position to do an MMO, it would be now and not then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be interesting. But then again, it could be their SWTOR for as it was for BioWare. BioWare could do no evil. BioWare could do no wrong. And then they released SWTOR.
Well, I could imagine Valve, because as you said, they are a bold company and they never shy away from trying new things. And they've been very interested in the whole virtual reality aspect of gaming. And Gabe Newell was very interested in that part of in the Oculus Rift. And I think it would not be. I think if anybody could do a large scale virtual reality MMO, I think it would be Valve. So I think that would be their a good future path for them to take this idea they had back then and now turn it into something that takes advantage of that combination of social gaming and virtual reality. But that's just me wishful thinking.
Yep, that's very, very interesting. All right, so let's, if we don't have anything else to say about that one, let's move on to our Patreon campaign. Talking, of course, about patreon.com/MMO Reporter. We've made a few changes here. First of all, before we do that, I've added, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I added a little bit of a reward at the $100 level, which we are $12 away from, which is a new song from the MMO Reporter crew. I'll just play just a little second of it here. Okay, there you go. That's all you get. That's all you get.
Awesome.
That's that was the sound of silence, right?
No, the chat room heard it. It recorded. There you go.
So
Genius.
Yeah.
it happened. You just didn't see it happen. It's a quantum song.
Nope, everybody but you heard it. All right, so you can check out our Patreon campaign. It is at patreon.com/MMO Reporter. It's just a way for you to help us run the network and do everything that we do. With PAX coming up, that's always a big thing for us, and your help is incredibly appreciated. We've also changed things around a little bit with the pledges. We've still got the 1, 5, 10. For $25 pledge, you will get a random reward from our swag closet, and you will get a guest host spot on the show of your choice. And for the $50 pledge amount, you get everything that is in all the other ones. You will get all of that plus a monthly meeting, Skype Hangout or Google Hangout, something like that, with 3 hosts from the MMO Reporter Network, and we'll work out all that sort of stuff as time goes by. So a few new rewards, pledge rewards, a new reward. If we can get $12 more, folks, $12 more. 12. See, the chat room heard it. chat room heard it. And I'll just tease again. Here it is. Ready. Okay, that's it. That's all you get. So we do have we are now just a month into our Patreon campaign. We do have a few thank yous to send out for those who have pledged the $10 amount. And I wanted to thank Dave Brer, who is from Northern UK. Thanks for pledging and for being a patron of the podcast. It is much appreciated, and you are awesome. Good job.
Thank you, Dave. And also wanted to say thanks to Chris Fruin, longtime listener and new supporter of the show, for supporting us as well in our Patreon campaign. Thank you very much, Chris. And thank you for being the most freshly scented person ever associated with the MMO Reporter podcast.
Awesome. And of course, we do still have our sponsors right now until we hit that $500 per month goal. We have Doghouse. Go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter to double your REM on any of the systems. And I know right now they've got a back-to-school sale on laptops that is kind of killer. So you want to go check out everything they offer there. I know my next computer is going to be a Doghouse Systems. I can't wait to get that. That's going to happen this fall, so that's going to be cool. And also wanted to mention Audible, audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. You can go there, sign up for the 1 month plan that they've got there, the monthly plan that they've got. You can get your first month free by going to that URL I gave you, audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter, which means you get a free audiobook, which is awesome. Choose a book. Have it read.
Did any of you guys have any of you guys read the book Snow Crash?
I've heard of it. Did I read it?
I bought it and I have it on my Kindle and I haven't read it yet. But it's one of those virtual reality books that's really
Yep. Recommended. Audiobook recommended. Go get it.
Ready Player One is actually a good one. Never mind.
Awesome.
This is not the book reporter. I'm sorry.
All right, let's move things along here. We've just got the end of the show here. Bill, if people want to contact us, how can they do that?
Well, you can visit MMOreporter.com for all your MMO Reporter and associated podcast information, links, and other bits. You can send us an email to mmo.reporter@gmail.com. You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/MMO Reporter. You can tweet at any of the four of us here, either at MMO_Reporter for Chris, at Harry Hall for Harry Hall, at Leonor for Leonor, or at MMO Bill for yours truly. You can give us a call at 616-666-6778 or click the widget on the right side of the MMOreporter.com page. And finally, you can check us out on youtube.com/user/MMO Reporter Network for all of our saved streams and upcoming PAX streams, and not streams, but videos and posts and everything like that there. And finally, as Chris mentioned, patreon.com/MMO Reporter if you would like to support us. Much like Dave and Chris. Chris with a K.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Harry, for another fantastic show. It's always fun.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Leonor, for your insightful discussion on Asian MMOs and
I got
killing
a bag of walnuts.
Okay. And Bill, thanks for being the sane one.
Well, at the start of the show I was alive, and now I'm feeling more than alive.
There we go. And thanks to everyone for listening to the show. Love our live viewers as always, and everyone who downloads the podcast week after week. We really appreciate it. We hope that you download the show again next week, but most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOReporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.